I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What do you mean, calm it down? It's a fight. Referees telling two fighters who want to fight to calm it down. He should calm down.
I saw he's like a clown in his show, man. He's not your guy.
Because Tyson Fury's back, and all you motherfuckers are under attack.
Look, Eddie Hearn can say all what he likes. Who gives a shit what Eddie Hearn says? It's garbage.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?
Can you let me retire and be happy? Please? Just please.
Bombs away from the Bronx Bomber!
Wilder! Let's go, baby! Let's go!
I'm through. They put somebody else up and give me an interview.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing. You ain't shit. You not shit.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
I got dropped, man. Are you kidding?
No, you won the fight.
OMG. I am so excited.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes. What is up? What is up, MCR family? I hope everyone's having a great day out there on this beautiful hump day, Wednesday. I like Wednesdays because usually speaking, we break down a lot of fights. It's the preview day of the week. We break down all the weekend's action. So we're going to break down Gervonta Davis, Hugo Ruiz, and, of course, Rey Vargas, Alberto Machado, Joseph Diaz, Jose Ramirez. Everyone's fighting this weekend, basically, in that low weight range in terms of the Hispanic side of the sport, it seems. And a lot of interesting fighters are fighting. I don't know about interesting fights, but a lot of interesting fighters are fighting this weekend. But unfortunately, we do have some Wilder Fury news to get to, I guess. We also do have, I know Rob has wants in mind to talk about Wilder Joshua in some aspect. He can feel free to talk about that. Plus, we have World Boxing Super Series. I think, really, Rob, I think it's time we put like the clock on it, man. World Boxing Super Series is slowly being euthanized in front of our eyes, and I think we just are now realizing it. It's like if your dad took the dog out, Old Yella, in the back and wanted to put him down, and instead of like a gun, he used like a spoon. That's what it seems like right now. It's rather unfortunate.
Oh, God!
I'm just saying. It is really sad that it is happening this way. But anyways, this is Mixed Comment Radio. If you're listening on YouTube, hit the like button, share the show, subscribe, listen on podcast form, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, etc. Make sure you leave a review, 5-star review. But anyways, I'm joined today, as always, by the illustrious Mr. Robbie Hearns himself. Rob, how are you doing today?
All good. Yeah, that's World Boxing Super Series. That is sad. I don't know what's going on. It is an absolute shit show. But never mind. Yeah, like you say, we got some Wilder Fury. Get into that. I'm actually going to be at an evening with Tyson Fury in a couple of weeks.
Wait, hold on, Rob. Before we get to anything else, this is news to me. I mean, my news, like the news I can talk about for chit chat, would be like I got a new tripod that I am completely terrified of. But you're going to go see Tyson Fury, please.
Is it a lineal tripod? Is it the lineal tripod?
Yo, it can be whatever it wants, honestly. It is in control of the relationship.
Yeah, I mean, you've just got to figure out those Chinese...
who sent instructions in only one language that's not in the U.S.?
Probably Chinese people where you've probably imported it from.
It was Amazon. And this was like when like you go to Amazon, it's like the Amazon like recommendation, right? It's the number one thing. Like this is Amazon bestseller, right? Whatever it is. I went to that and it didn't work out. But anyways, back to you, Rob. You can go see the
Maybe you could get how to read Chinese, how to book, Chinese for Dummies or something from Amazon.
That'd be great.
Recommended.
Awesome.
But yeah, I'm gonna hang out with the I was gonna say WBC champion, but that would be petty right now, I guess.
I mean, maybe that's your job, but where I come from, people like that get slapped.
Just saying. But Rob, more details here, because
No, it's, you know, like
a little media day.
No, it's not a media day. It's like 2-course meal. My girl, shout out to Vicky, paid for me and Lewis to go together. VIP tickets. You get a signed boxing glove, photo with Tyson Fury. You can ask questions. Just like an evening.
Oh, that's cool.
An evening with it's pretty cool. So yeah, heading off to that.
I was gonna make a really bad joke, but I won't. Fuck it, I will. I wonder if the proceeds of that will go towards the $8 million check to the homeless, and I'm still waiting for. But digressing from that, we do have a lot to get to, so enough with the pleasantries. Let's get to the topics of the day, and obviously the fights coming up this weekend. First up, though, we have to get through it because it is relatively the biggest names of the show we're going to talk about, and it is news. It is relevant news. Purse bids for Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury rematch have been postponed. I am going to quickly say this is not an issue. This is not, I don't think anything fishy. There's no red flags coming up in any way. This is actually pretty common for fights. I want to say, obviously, like Spence Brook had this, I think, numerous times. They had extensions on purse bids, extensions on deadlines. It's usually, in my mind, more of a sign that the fight is closer to being made. If we hear purse bids are extended or postponed to like a week or so, that means they're close to finalizing a deal, in my mind, because that's what the precedent usually shows. Rob, I know you are of the mindset that you have your little bit, your tinfoil hat on. You're thinking this is red flaggy all over the place. How so? How do you think this leads to a Dominic Breazeale fight? Because I know that's your ultimate conspiracy theory, is that Deontay Wilder fights Dominic Breazeale next, and then you can laugh and play the Ricky Gervais laugh over and over again the entire show.
No, that's not my theory. No, no. First of all, I saw as soon as this news came out, it's like, what the fuck? The WBC, this, that, and the other, protecting their chat or doing, whatever. But this is kind of this happens a lot. We've just seen
par for the course.
The WBA move the purse bids or whatever and delay those for Lomachenko Crawler. This happens a lot. And
correct me if I'm wrong. No. I would be wrong. I was about to say Warrington Galahad had postponement, but it didn't.
Well, there was an issue. I think Frank Warren. I don't think he liked the new split or something, isn't it?
There was some issue, but that's not relevant to what we're talking about. I was wrong.
But I mean, look, Eddie gave a little bit more insight in it today. Actually, in an interview, he said this. This is kind of, there's no red flag on this at all. It's not no issue really. That if both camps request it, it can be moved. He said, in all honesty, they could probably get another month if they wanted, because they could then go, we're really, really close. We get another week, and then it's like, right, we've everything's agreed. We're drafting contracts. Get you another week. He said you could probably drag this for a month if you wanted to. Just throwing in little things there. But my only thing is, all they like to throw out the first time was that this fight, the easiest deal in the world ever made. Easiest deal, 2 days. That's all it took. Signed, sealed, delivered. Blah blah blah. Now, obviously, there's a draw, and there's, Wilder, in a lot of people's eyes, won that fight. So he's got some kind of...
Wait.
Fury.
Yeah, I was like, whoa. I'm like, whoa. Rob, you okay there?
It's all right. We'll edit that out, and I'll look like a UK fanboy again.
Don't let people know that you're actually a huge Wilder mark, and you hate UK fighters. Don't let them know that.
Shh. Keep it down. No, not at all. The public perception is that Fury, won that fight. So he's got some kind of sort of leverage. Yes. And we know Wilder really wants this fight. He wants, clarity over the whole thing and whatever. But I just wonder if Fury's, digging his heels in a little bit. And this whole, because we've sort of learned, apparently, whether you want to believe Eddie or not, the Warrington Galahad purse bid, there was actually an offer made to Galahad, And because Eddie had said, look, let it go to purse bids, he's actually got 30% increase on what he was originally offered. And we've learned he's got like Galahad's getting like £550,000, over $500,000, and Warrington's getting over £1 million pounds as well.
I think the total purse bid was like 1.6 high 6 million. I think total.
Pounds, yeah. So I don't know what that translates in dollars. So
like
getting closer to 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with a fight like this, if it did go to purse bids, this whatever the split would be, if other entities are coming in for the fight, they're going to bid crazy. So whatever that split is, if it the 60-40, the 40 that people were saying that Fury wouldn't want, the actual amount might figure out to what a 50-50 would have been had they, done the deal between them in the first place. So it could result in more money. So I don't know. I still think they're going to reach a deal. Everything's all on board, and it's probably just all on track and not a problem. But I just wonder if Fury's sort of playing it a bit smart and trying to really just dig his heels in that bit just to try and squeak out that little bit more from the deal and things like that.
No, that's absolutely what it is. I mean, it's this whole negotiation period has been Fury playing hardball. It's been Fury wanting to watch the world burn. He loves the chaos of it. He loves being in control. He loves being the puppeteer in that way. Very Mayweather-esque in that way, in my mind, where he likes to sort of be mysterious about his moves. He likes to contradict himself because he knows it will lead to, conflicting storylines, conflicting talking points, both on his camp and his opponent's camp, because they then have to contradict themselves to deal with your contradictions, right? It's just a masterstroke of just business savvy or acumen. But I think it's just Fury getting that extra 5-10%, whatever it may be, closer to 50-50. And again, we're going to get this fight announced, and the fight's going to go on, and I think it's going to do better than the first one, and we're all going to be happy for it.
Yeah, I think so. It's funny because this whole, the whole Joshua thing and everything, we've heard this side, that side, we've heard this has been the reason, that's been the reason why it hasn't, or he said this and I'm not doing this for this much. But we've heard nothing's come out about this fight. All we're hearing is it's close, or there's been
it's very quiet. And honestly, from in the last week or so, Wilder and Fury have been really quiet on social media.
I mean, I've noticed just the last maybe week, Wilder has done some interviews, but he's just saying, look, it's virtually done. We'll be announcing very, very, very soon. It's basically 100% done. It's just, minor things. But that could just be a little bit of, glossing over it. But there's actually, Fury's being an asshole. He's just trying to, play stuff down, because I think, like I say, the first time, this deal's so easy. We've done it in 2 days, and the rematch will just make that no problem. So, it's taken that bit longer this time. And I think that's out of Fury gaining some kind of leverage. Even though it was a draw, it's almost as if, not that Fury's got all the power, but he kind of has in a way, ringing Eddie Hearn. Apparently he rang Eddie Hearn. So that made Eddie speak in the public. So that's a little bit of pressure on Wilder. Look, I could just walk away. I'll go fight Joshua. I've got an offer from, you know what I mean? So it's all little things like that I think have pointed to Fury's sort of playing the A side kind of role. Like, you need me, I don't need you, because I can go and fight Joshua, or I can do this, I could do that. So yeah, but I'm sure we'll get an announcement. It's interesting the time. I think they're going to need to do it soon because of the rumored dates. One of them was late April. We're nearly, that's for a big fight like this, they'll want to do as much promotion. And
I think this fight probably ends up in May, to be honest. I don't think it's an April fight.
Yeah, I mean, again, just from interviews and listening, Eddie seems to wonder if this might even be sort of June. Just the size of the fight, if they get it done, if they're going to keep dragging a little bit and not actually putting an announcement out there, this might even reach like June or something.
Well, on that sort of tip, and this is sort of the last point, because we do have to move on because we have a lot of stuff we get to. Again, call in 323-870-4051. Press 1 to get in the queue. If you're international, add Mixed Combat Radio on Skype. All the information is below on the screen or down in the description below. But Rob, part of me wonders if the wait for them to announce this fight is in any conjunction with them waiting to see what happens with AJ Miller. Because obviously they're going to compete in some fashion in the same marketplace, in the same city, around the same time frame. So let's say Miller and Joshua gets announced for June 1st. I think that's one of the proposed dates. I think it's like June 1st, right?
8th, yeah.
Then late May becomes an option. Let's say Joshua goes to June 8th or even later. Then maybe June 1st becomes an option now for Wilder and Fury. I think there is some factor of that in play here. Not the whole reason why we haven't had a finalized deal yet, but I think in some part they're waiting to see what happens with AJ Miller, and probably vice versa. I think Eddie Hearn is waiting to see what happens with Wilder Fury to sort of move that big chess piece around the board. Because right now, May and June are looking to be really stacked up with events. Obviously, you have Canelo and Jacobs in May, early May. You have AJ Miller most likely in the first half of June. Where does Wilder Fury fall in that? It's going to be interesting to see in terms of the marketplace of boxing how these all sort of coincide with each other, how they compete with each other in some fashion. Even though, to be fair, not all of these are pay-per-views, not all of these are going to be competing in the same sort of medium, but they will be competing in some fashion, especially with at least two of these events being in the same city. Rob, any last thoughts on this before we move on?
No, I was just going to say I agree. I think there's a waiting game on everyone's part. I think obviously he sort of suggested today it basically is Miller. It's moving on. There's it's close, but there's still little things to they never quite give away. Potentially it is done, and they're just waiting on this announcement from Wilder Fury. They're all waiting on each other. Obviously,
and honestly, very quickly, AJ Miller don't have a timetable. You know what I mean? Like they don't have a purse bid they have to go to, and they have to, they have a point in time where they have to make this deal. Yeah. Wilder Fury does. So AJ Miller can play the longer game and wait. It may not be the best thing for us fans, but that is an actual possibility and reality of what could happen.
Yeah, and obviously, I was going to say, Eddie's got like Usyk to kind of put out there at some point. It's all. I think as soon as one gets announced, everything else will be.
Somebody calling you? Is somebody calling you? Oh, sorry.
No.
Oh my God! Skype was. That's weird. Live, Adrian. You have to add me. Add me, Adrian. I don't know why it's not connected. That's weird. Go, Rob. Sorry.
No, I was just saying. I think as soon as one of these gets announced, everything else will sort of fall into place, and we'll find out. But like you said, Wilder Fury and Joshua Miller, they're both going to be in New York or Brooklyn or whatever it is, in the vicinity. So the only thing that's going to affect is maybe people having a choice. Do they want to go and pay? Not many people are going to afford to go to both events. One at Madison Square Garden, one at Brooklyn, the Barclays Center. So that's in some respects where it could compete. Like if we get in there first, people are going to jump the gun and want to buy tickets for this, over potentially wanting to, will they wait and pay for Joshua? So, that as far as announcing it, I think, ticket sales is the only way they compete, because this isn't competing pay-per-views in America anyway. It will be here. We'll out if they're, really close to each other. If you want to watch both fights, you're going to be either both, paying for both or paying for one. And I don't want to say streaming, suggesting people go and do that, But yeah, we just need an announcement really, and then I think the rest of them will, it'll all fall like dominoes, and we'll get the schedule ironed out. Briefly on Usyk. It's looking like Eddie's looking to do Usyk and Callum Smith doubleheader in America. I think that was May 18th, and that's one of the rumored dates for the Joshua fight.
Thank you for
Wilder fight.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I did forget to put that in the topic run. And we can actually, I think, briefly talk about that, since we're going to talk about the zone later on in the show, obviously, and we're watching Super Series as well. I am curious as to what is the strategy Eddie Hearn and Matchroom USA has. Long-term strategy, short-term strategy, how they coincide with each other, how they connect to each other, how their short goals and long-term goals, have a cohesiveness to them. Because I'm confused as to why Callum Smith, who under my knowledge has never fought in the U.S., and Usyk, who has fought more times in Europe than he has in the U.S., 2 European names, people that have European fan bases, why Eddie is pushing for them to fight in the U.S. market, especially since the DAZN medium allows you, and actually I think it's designed for you to put fights of that nature in their designated market, regardless of it being a U.S. app, because it's streaming. It's meant to be streamed at any point in time. I not that I don't want to see Callum Smith or Usyk in the U.S., but I don't need to see them in the U.S. to be a DAZN subscriber. You know what I'm saying? Like that fight could be at the O2. Usyk could be fighting in Ukraine or East Germany or just Germany, period. Not East Germany, we're not in 1980s. He could be fighting in places that are built for his fan base, that have his fan base there. I don't know if the U.S. is that for either guy. And again, DAZN and that medium is not meant for you to sort of shoehorn to a TV format. You know what I mean? And that is a different issue for DAZN. But for Eddie, he should understand that. He's a smart guy. He's relatively young. I think he's in his early 40s, right? Like he's
I think he's a year older than. I think he's 39.
He's in his 30s? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So he's smart enough. He should know this. That streaming is built for that sort of format where you can put Usyk in Ukraine and Callum Smith in the O2, or both of them in the O2, and you can still cater to that European fan base. It just doesn't make sense to me. If I'm a very short term, and then if you connect it to a long term goal, what is the plan for the U.S. market? Is it to transport European names in to try to build them in the U.S. market? I don't know. I don't know if that's successful. I don't know if that's going to lead you to be number one and to be the market leader. Definitely, you're going to have a niche within the market, obviously, but again, market leader, I don't know if that happens. Sorry, go.
Sorry, I was going to say, what if Usyk's heavyweight debut is against an American? Look,
yeah, but who's that American?
I don't know. I'm just saying if they're going to match them up against some American guy, I'm not sure. But I get you. I mean, ticket wise, I get it. It's probably not. Those guys aren't going to be major ticket draws in America. But you got to be happy that you're going to get Usyk and Callum Smith doubleheader on DAZN in like what would be your prime time.
Yeah, but see, that's the point of what I'm saying here is that with streaming, it doesn't matter if it's prime time. It's not designed for that. It's designed to be anytime, anywhere, right? That's the point of streaming. On top of that, it's not just ticket sales. It's their brand. Where are you going to build Callum Smith into any sort of star? Where are you going to capitalize on his brand? It's not in the U.S. It's in the U.K. Where are you going to capitalize on Usyk and his brand and his name and really monetize him in a sense? It's not in the U.S. It's in Europe, and predominantly Eastern Europe. So, again, because of the model, if let's say Eddie was on Fox or Showtime or HBO or ESPN, I would understand it more because those are U.S. platforms and linear TV platforms, right? So you're dealing with prime time more. You're discussing those issues more. But it's streaming. Like, those parameters are no longer restricting you, in my opinion. So you can then think outside the box more. And again, as a DAZN subscriber, I'd rather see Usyk or Callum Smith fight in Europe where you're going to see 20, 25,000 people. For Usyk, maybe 30, 35,000 if you're in Eastern Europe. In those sort of those medium stadiums, right, that can fit 40,000 people. I, as a consumer, as a watcher of DAZN, would be more interested in seeing that atmosphere, that dynamic. Similar to like wanting to see AJ in the UK. Like there's some draw to that as a U.S. fan. I want to see those big soccer stadiums, that spectacle in Europe. It's something different. Capitalize on that. There's a market for that. And again, DAZN and that platform, that medium, is meant for you to capitalize on things such as this. Not to stick to a TV primetime format.
No, I get you. I get where you're coming from. But
and again, that's my only criticism about Usyk, Conor Smith, the doubleheader, is that very abstract, thought process about DAZN, Matchroom USA, long-term, short-term plans, etc. I love Usyk, love Conor Smith. I want to see him fight all the time. That's not the issue as what I'm talking about. Just for those listening, not for you, Rob.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I do, but I still feel, even though, like you say, the point of a streaming app is you can, beam to people watching stuff from wherever, whenever, stuff at the same time. You got to make a decision. Do I watch that now? Watch that one later on demand? But I still feel there must be some kind of prime time, because at 5 p.m. who's really tuning into a streaming app at 5 p.m. if they're on a coming home from work or they're still at work, whereas prime time still a slot where someone might sit down with their TV. I'm going to catch the DAZN card. So there's still, I think, a prime time to a point, but I get what you mean. Like, anything can be shown at any point from anywhere in the world at whatever time. It doesn't matter. But I still feel there must be some point where whether you've got your computer or the Fire Stick in your thing or through your PlayStation, that there's a boxing card on tonight, prime time, 9 o'clock, whatever, and it's on just like you would flick Showtime on, or you would put ESPN on. I mean, and you talk about Usyk as well. You got Loma obviously doing well out there. I know he's been on normal ESPN, but there's obviously ESPN Plus now. Does that mean he should now ship out over to the Ukraine and fight at 5 p.m.
Well, it's very different because the majority of his career has been in the U.S. You get what I'm saying? It's not that they're European. It's that Loma's been built in the U.S. from like day one in his pro career, not amateur career, but his pro career started out in the U.S. It has, I think, every fight has been in the U.S. under my assumption. I could be wrong about that. While Usyk, the majority of his has been in Europe. The majority of the times where he won his belt were in Europe or in Russia. Like the atmosphere, the geography that Usyk was surrounded by, where he became Usyk, he became pound for pound, wasn't the U.S. The surroundings of Loma, where he became Lomachenko, was New York City, was Los Angeles. It's a different buildup. If Conor Smith and Usyk were day one in the U.S. fighting in the U.S., it wouldn't be an issue. This wouldn't be the conversation. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Just very quick, his fourth fight was in the Venetian Resort, Macau.
Was that a Manny Pacquiao undercard? I think it was.
It was against Surya Takun. He won a unanimous decision.
Great name there. I think that was Manny Pacquiao, Brandon Rios, right?
Let me quickly look at the fight.
I just want to see if Matt Stats is right. Please be right, Matt Stats. Come on.
It was Manny Pacquiao, Chris Algieri.
Ah, damn. I was one off. I forgot that fight was in Macau. Anyways, digressing. We don't need to stick on this long because we do have other things to get to. But, Rob, anything else about DAZN, Matchroom USA, Conor Smith, Usyk, any points you want to make? Or
no, I think we're good.
Wow.
We're talking streaming apps. I think Showtime hit 2 million subscribers, right?
No, ESPN.
Oh, that's what I meant. Sorry. Yeah, my bad.
Whoa.
No, it's just that Espinoza's got in my head. They've been streaming since 2014.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?
That Anthony Fowler CBD, man. God damn. God damn.
No, but yeah, 2 million subscribers now. I guess UFC's been a big chunk of that boost just recently, but yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Let's get to the fights this weekend. Gervonta Davis versus Hugo Ruiz. A fight that is a short notice fight. A fight that I could really care less about. Hugo has moved up 122. I think he had 1 fight or 2 fights at 126, and now he's at 130 fighting Davis on short notice. Gervonta Davis should win by KO within 6 rounds, maybe within 4 rounds. The one fight on this card that I really want to talk about, and probably the best fight on paper, at least, of the weekend, Erickson Lubin versus Ishe Smith. A fight that I think Al Heyman, PBC, whoever you want to say, is they have sort of said, okay, we're done experimenting with Erickson Lubin. Let's see what he really is. Post the loss to Charlo, like, let's see if he's still a commodity worth investing in. This is that fight. If he loses to Ishe Smith, I'm telling you right now, folks, Erickson Lubin will not be around on TV for quite some time. If he beats Ishe Smith, he is back in the fold. Might fight J-Rock next. Willie Nelson could be next. Maybe a Tony Harrison, Jamel Charlo, loser or winner. Laura, like, they're going to start pushing Erickson Lubin fast again, in my opinion. Good look, crossroads fight, and also just a tough fight on top of that. Ishe Smith has looked quite well in his last few fights, even in some losing affairs. One of them I thought he won, but digressing, I think this is a good sort of test for Lubin post the Charlo loss, and one I think is going to be very tough for him. I might even pick Ishe Smith. I actually will. I'm going to pick Ishe Smith in a really tough decision when Lubin's not going to look Lubin's not going to look bad, but he will lose in this fight, in my opinion. And quickly, Mario Barrios also on the card. And I believe that's really it for people of note, at least from what I see. Rob, your thoughts? Oh, Javier Fortuna also on the card. Just want to quickly mention that.
Yeah. I mean, the card is, I don't know. You're probably right. To me, that's a better fight than Davis Ruiz. It's a shame, obviously. Mahrez with his detached retina and, possibly the end of his career, going into this fight, I still wasn't that, hyped for it. I think, Davis with these dragging up these people from the divisions below doesn't really get me excited. I like to watch Tank fight, but I think it's time he started getting some, serious opposition, and that maybe this will lead into that. He sort of said on Twitter before that Al's promised me this and that. So we'll have to see if good old Uncle Al delivers on those. But yeah, Lubin, I guess it's not last chance saloon as such. He's still, sort of young, 19-1 in his career.
Quickly,
yeah, it's a long way back from here if he loses to Ishe Smith.
Quickly, a Johnny, sorry, look, not joking, coming at me a little bit in the chat, saying Matt has zero faith in Lubin after the Jamel KO. Picking a dude with 10 L's, coming off 2 L's over Lubin. Look, Johnny, we have to be honest here. While Lubin is a athletic talent, this is still his second best opponent to date, right? Like, it's Jamel Charlo and then now Ishe Smith. Like, those are his 2 best opponents. This is still a jump up competition-wise from all of his wins. And even though Ishe has had a ton of losses, look who he's lost to. Look in the manner in which he's lost to those people. And those last 2 losses were close, competitive losses to who is one of them is now a champion who beat Jamel Charlo. And who was the other one he lost to? J-Rock. He lost to fucking J-Rock. And that was a controversial decision in my mind. I thought Ishe did quite well in that fight. Arguably won that fight. No, come on, Johnny. You are discounting Ishe here a little bit too much. Even though Ishe is no world beater, he is still a great gatekeeper. And we've never seen Lubin beat anyone of that level. We just haven't. Rob, back to you.
Ishe's been in with some, real good opposition, and I think a lot of his losses are to these, top guys at the time. But yeah, I guess last time we saw Lubin out against anyone with, with that sort of talent, we didn't get to find out really because he got hit on the button and that was it. He was. He was like a zombie. He was in a bad way. But So maybe we just don't know. Anyone, I guess, hit real clean on the button. That could be it. It's just one of those things. I don't think, he's instantly labeled as a guy, a chinny guy. He just got caught, as a just right on that button. But, as for the card, obviously, I'll be honest, there's some guys on there that I just do not know who they are. But
there's a lot of that on this on this whole weekend, I feel like, for you, Rob, huh?
Yeah, I mean, Jesus, I'm just looking at the names now. Some of them jump out like I've heard them or
there's a lot of actually really good names across the weekend, but there's a lot of fights that don't matter. Like that's the unfortunate thing about, again, oversaturation, the amount of events that these promoters are owed to networks. These fighters can't fight each other all the time and still give out 30, 50 plus events per year to their affiliated network. You're going to have these cards where you get, like the card next, which we could probably get to right now, Rey Vargas, Alberto Machado, Joseph Diaz, Terriano Johnson on the card. Like, they're all on that card together, and none of them are fighting live bodies in any way. Rob, I'm sorry, you sort of stop. Do you want to say something?
No, I just wondered, what is the Dignity Health Sports Park, Carson, California? Maybe you know it. What is that?
I believe that is the new StubHub Center because they changed the name.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Yeah, I didn't realize.
Yes.
This is outside? Like, fucking hell.
Oh, have they actually officially changed the name now? Oh my God, that is such an ugly name.
What a horrible name for a venue.
Oh my God.
I guess everyone will still call it the StubHub.
Oh yeah, like that's what it is now called, at least for the boxing world. I don't know about outside of that, because think about, we use the tennis court. Like that's where the boxing ring is at the StubHub Center, is in the tennis court. So I don't know what the tennis world calls the StubHub Center, if they legitimately view it as some mythological place where battles happen, like us boxing fans. But yeah, Dignity Health Sports Park. Oh God, that's just a mouthful. It just doesn't
really rolls off the tongue, right?
Man, it has worse flow than you, man. That's just bad.
And that is bad.
That is bad. But anyway, it's digressing. Like I said, Rey Vargas, Alberto Machado, Joseph Diaz, Fernando Caraban, who's a really good prospect, Terriano Johnson, all on the card. I would say this, guys like Andrew Canseco, he's not a bad opponent for Alberto Machado. He's beaten some good guys at 126. Like Dre Bamontes, I think. Who else did he beat? God, why am I forgetting it? I'm going to his page right now. Ronnie Rios. He lost to Ronnie Rios. He beat Rene Alvarado, and that's a really good win. But we also see him lose to guys like Joseph Diaz at 126. So now he's moved up to 130. I'm not too high on him beating Machado in any form or fashion, but this could be a good fight for as long as it goes. And just to sort of keep the same energy here, even though Canseco has fought at 130 for about, I think, 2 fights, he is still sort of a career 126-pounder that's now moved up to 130 that Machado's facing. If I give Gervonta Davis that smoke, I got to give Machado that smoke. I'm not a fan of this matchup in any way, especially since I think a lot of boxing fans are high on Machado, and we value him highly, and we think that he could be the best guy at 130, but he needs to start fighting actual competitive fights. Rey Vargas against Franklin Mazzolini. Mazzolini is a relative no one that's lost to relative no ones. That is probably one of the worst matchups on the card, especially when Rey Vargas is arguably the best champion at 122 as well, with Daniel Roman, Amanda Navarre, who we're going to get to later in the show. Rey Vargas could be the guy to beat them all, but right now he's fighting Franklin Mazzolini, and that should be an easy win for him. Joseph Diaz fighting Charles Huerta. That should be an easy win for Jojo Diaz. And I think that's about it. Again, the prospects, Fernando Caraban, he should probably get a good win, easy win against a guy that's 14-1 in his pro career, and who's lost, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. His last 6 fights in a row. Just not good matchmaking at all on this card, to be quite honest.
He's got form, consistency.
And also, this card is in Fantasy Springs Casino. That is no offense to anyone in Indio, California, but no one gives a shit about Indio, California. Like Fresno is a much more respected, highly populated city than Indio, California. Indio, California is in the middle of the desert. I'm not too happy about it. HD saying Areta is pretty good. Yo, the dude's 20-5, and he's 2-2 in his last 4 fights. Joseph Diaz might be one of the top 5 guys in the division. There are levels to this, fam. Come on, HD Sports. You should know better. Rob, any thoughts on this card?
Yeah, it's all right. It's, small boxing. This is the zone, right?
Yes, that is the zone. It's Golden Boy. So Golden Boy on the zone.
Yeah. I'll try and catch obviously the main fights, but it'll be a struggle for me to get much more of the card. But
definitely a UK style card though.
A UK style card. All right. Yeah, because we're the only ones that do this. All right.
Yep. Facts. With
the Joseph Diaz fight says pending approval. I don't know if that's in some kind of doubt.
I doubt it. I think it should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, it says on his thing that he's suspended by California State Athletic Commission until 2090, 7th of February. So I guess it's pending because.
But I think that's because he had a recent fight, though. Like, I think that's more of like a medical suspension. Because fighters, like, after a fight, they have like an automatic like 90-day suspension, or is like 60-day suspension.
Yeah, but hasn't he fought since he lost to Gary Russell?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he's fought recently. I think he fought like in November or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like he fought, I think on like one of those Facebook cards before Golden Boy moved over.
Oh yeah, you might be right. Actually,
could be wrong about it. But again, digressing. We don't need to stay on it. I think Joseph Diaz the fight's gonna go on. Like I know there has that pending thing, but you know how BoxRec is finicky. You know how that is. And Big Nick, it was a joke, fam. Relax in there, man. You're all testy about my whole UK style card. So come on, man, relax. It's just a boxing style card. Like that's why it's a joke, because people will make fun of the UK for that. But it's a boxing thing where you litter the card with A sides, a bunch of names like Joseph Diaz, Rey Vargas, Alberto Machado. Those are all names that draw in the Hispanic California market, but they're all facing nobodies. The joke is that obviously like Matchroom cards are like that. That's the joke, Big Nick. But it's never funny when we have to explain the jokes to people. Digressing. On ESPN Plus and slightly on ESPN, I forget which one. It has both of them listed on BoxRec, so I don't know which fights are on ESPN, which aren't. It might go back and forth fight to fight. I have no idea. Jose Ramirez versus Jose Zapata. Ray Beltran versus Hiroki Okada. 2 really good fights. Genesis Savania also on the card. Andy Vences, Joel Diaz Jr., Gabriel Flores Jr. There's some like prospects on the card. There's some like I like the main event, to be honest. I think the main event's gonna be a fun fight. Even the co-main, Ray Beltran, Okada. I think it's gonna be a fun back and forth fight. Okada's undefeated. Always love seeing undefeated Japanese guys make the transition over and fighting established names in the U.S. because then we sort of see what they're made of. And hell, sometimes we get a Jusan, who is fucking insane, phenomenal, who I'm now the biggest fan of in the world.
Susan.
Shout out to Susan. Sometimes we get like a Miura who is going to give us fight of the years, like 3 fight of the years in 1 year. But shout out to just Asian boxing overall. Shout out to Asian boxing on Twitter too. One of the best followers on Twitter. Rob, any thoughts on this card on ESPN?
Yeah, I quite like this card. Andy Vences. I like Andy Vences and Gabriel Flores Jr. Shout out to Alex Lemon getting me onto Gabriel Flores. But yeah, I'll be trying to definitely find as much as I can of this card. Yeah, this is on the Sunday, right?
Yes, this is on Sunday, by the way. Yes.
Yeah, just so in case people were trying to find Saturday night, but
you're not going to find it. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Just a lot of boxing on this weekend. It's maybe not peak super fights or anything like that, but you know, we're all here. We like boxing. We love boxing. So
and also a lot of relevant young names like Jose Ramirez, young guy, Gervonta Davis, young guy, Alberto Machado, Rey Vargas, Joseph Diaz, plus prospects like Gabriel Flores Jr. Like there is some like really young, talented, relevant names fighting this weekend. Just none of the fights are really that great, except for, in my opinion, I think the Ishe Smith Erickson Lubin fight is like perfect matchmaking. Like that is a fight that I'm actually like really excited for to see because there's so much that like is gonna happen based off of that fight for both guys' careers. But otherwise, yeah, it's just sort of a ho hum fight with a bunch of young guys, talented guys that are gonna be relevant for the next 5 years, probably 6 years, 8 years, 10 years.
For sure, yeah. Like I say, I really like Gabriel Flores Jr. I think he looks a good prospect. What was he, 11-0? I think, yeah, 11-0.
Yeah,
definitely one to keep an eye on. And like you say, Okada, he's 19-0. You got Carlos Castro, he's 21-0. There's some, you know, what looks like to be some fun competitive fights. You know, I expect the majority of these A sides to come away with a win, but you just, you know, you never know. There's, you know, going up against undefeated guys, like you say, Okada, Japanese or whatever, you know, tough, usually prove to be tough opponents. Maybe they don't win, but they're usually, you know, tough, you know, opponents to get rid of, or, you know, to take their soul or anything like that. Is they've got some balls, you know, they really come to fight and they're tough opponents. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Looks like some fun fights.
Let's get to something that isn't that fun, though, as we get to some news of the day. Again, call in 323-870-4051. Press 1 to get in the queue. International callers add on Skype. I believe I fixed what the issue was. It wasn't plugged in. But anyways, Skype computer is plugged in now, so it should be working. If it's not, please let me know on Skype. Again, add Makes Combat Radio for international calls. But let's get to some sad shit here, man. God damn it. Rob, why can't we have nice things, man, in this boxing world? Like, honestly, is it that hard to want this is a boxing tournament that runs smoothly, that doesn't rip off fighters, and lasts more than 18 months? Per Mike Coppinger, sources, there's uncertainty surrounding Regis Prograis' participation in the World Boxing Super Series. But for now, organizers are moving ahead with the title fight against Kaylee Raylick in New Orleans, potentially in April. Zolani Tete versus Nunito Donaire could be the co-feature. It's not over, ladies and gentlemen. It's not over. The original plan called for Tete Donaire to be paired with Inoue Rodriguez in April in LA, but no venues were available. Now, Inoue Rodriguez could land May 18th in Glasgow under Taylor Baranchik if that 140-pound title fight even happens. Rob. And again, like that Baranchik fight has been talked about ad nauseum as to not happening. And I think Baranchik's manager just went on, I forget whose podcast it was, and had a lengthy interview about how they're not doing the fight and they're not going to do this shit. They're not getting paid. I forget whose podcast. Do you remember?
I think was it Boxing Esquire? Or whatever.
It was either Boxing Esquire or Aficionados. It's one of those two, but shout out to them. Rob, can we just like, wait, let's just call it quits. Like, this seems like the relationship that like you guys have cheated on each other already. You know, like you guys are like no longer like really on good speaking terms, but you're still living together and you hate each other like every waking minute and you're throwing shit at each other. You're always mad, but none of you want to like actually say like, hey, like it's over, let's break up. That's what this seems like. Let's just call it quits, guys. Like, World Boxing Super Series, it was great. It was great where it lasted. It was the summer fling of our lifetime. You gave us Usyk. We will forever be grateful for Usyk. Okay, but I think it's time that it's done now. Like, it's just, God fucking damn it. You know, we can't have nice things, Rob. We can't have nice things. Your thoughts? God damn it.
It doesn't look that way. It really doesn't. I mean, you say, you know, you gave us Usyk. Thank you so much for Usyk. So don't whinge about him fighting in America. Yeah, it looks.
Wait, hold on. I didn't get the American connection because that World Boxing Super Series event was in Europe, so I'm confused.
No, I'm saying thank you for giving us Usyk. Now we're sending you Usyk to America, and you're
Oh.
like, we don't fucking want him here. Fight in Europe. But anyway, yeah, this has been a shit show for some time. Even the first season took forever to kind of get sort of finished, and I know there was some injury.
Really. Not really. Like the finals did. The finals did, right? But the quarterfinals, semifinals, those were quick. Like those seemed like they were on point.
Yeah, it did come around quick, but yeah, just to get that final right. Who is the fucking Muhammad Ali champion? Jesus, let's just find out. But yeah, this is crazy, and I believe now Prograis is, a little upset about all this, and Taylor, they want the belts in the tournament. That's why they entered the tournament, and now people with belts are looking like they don't want to be in it because they're not getting paid. It's been an absolute shit show, and it's a real shame. I think I heard that Eddie Hearn might be interested in sort of not stepping in and saving the day, but sort of looking into, I don't know, whether helping to keep this going in some way. I'm not sure. It was a brief sort of mention of it, but yeah, it's a shame because this.
Well, look, sorry not to interrupt, but like the World Boxing Super Series, I think has always had a air of mysterious funding, if that's gonna be like the best sort of phrase I can use. Just like Camosa AG is an Eastern European company that has partial ownership of World Boxing Super Series. The rest of the investors are sort of unknown. And plus, with the obvious connection it seems to have with Russia, God knows what sort of Russian oligarch oil money is involved with it. But it's always seemed a little bit fishy on the outside looking in, just being honest. It always has. Maybe that's just a U.S. fear of Eastern Europe and Russia. Maybe it is, the Soviets. But I'm a fucking communist, so like I don't know like why I would be scared of it.
Just build a wall. Just build a wall, you'll be fine.
So like the writing has been on the wall for some time that this wasn't going to be a long-lasting thing, right? Oh, wall. I didn't even mean to do that. Oh my god. Hold on.
The writing on the invisible wall.
Accidental puns are hilarious. Because real puns are fucking corny. But accidental ones, hilarious. Digressing. I always knew that this wasn't going to last for years and years and be a thing that lasts decades, right? I think we all sort of knew that, right? Going into it. I think we were just happy that we had like the first one, to be honest. But that went relatively very well, in my opinion. They had to hold up with George Groves, Count Smith due to injury. They had to hold up with Usyk and Gassiev. I think even Usyk Breeders for a little bit of time due to the Russian connection and Latvian connection, and then wanting to put those fights in those two countries for whatever reason. That's a rabbit hole I'm not going to get into because it's just pure speculation. But otherwise, it went well. So, okay, season 2. We can hear the news. Let's hear what it is. Let's hear what they have. And then the season 2 rollout happened. We gave 0 fucks about the cruiserweight division, which was assumed because we already got Usyk. Like we already got the resolution of that tournament, right?
No bouts in the current cruiserweight.
Yeah, like we don't need that. But 140, I think we really like that because Prograis and Taylor are 2 fan favorites right now. Even though it wasn't the perfect tournament, like you didn't have Maurice Hurker, you didn't have Jose Ramirez, but it was decent, right? It reminded us, I think, of the super middleweight tournament where we saw potential. We saw some names that could become somebody out of the tournament, like a Callum Smith. And 118, God, that was the cruiserweight, smaller weight class version of that, right? You had all the champions, except for one, I think the WBC. Shout out to Obali. What was his full name? But shout out to Obali. And now that it's falling apart, it's just sad. I didn't think it was going to happen this way. I thought it was going to happen probably in between seasons. I thought we were going to peter out this one, but it looks like it's dying off a very slow death, and I think it's time for us just to call it quits, guys. Let's give them the phone call. Let's break up with them. Send them the breakup text, whatever you guys need to do. But it's time to jump ship. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I don't know how they resolve this. You know, if Belichick is absolutely standing firm and definitely not going in it, you know, is someone going to come in and stand in to fight Josh Taylor? But is Josh Taylor going to be so up for that? And like, that was my chance. I was going to be the world champion, you know?
And also, like, could we get Branchick Taylor outside of the tournament? If that's a possibility, then fuck the tournament. Like, honestly, like, if the tournament's not going to be a path to get great fights, then we don't need the tournament anymore. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only reason to have tournaments, is to have a direct path to meaningful, important, good fights. If those things aren't happening, guess what? We don't need a fucking tournament.
And can you remember, like, off the back, I think the success of, like, I say success, but, you know, how well it done, we don't know, because I think this time the purses have been smaller. So I think the guys in the first season have really cashed in on this bright new venture, and they done well out of it. But, you know, going into the second one, people were like, it was put out there, what divisions do you want in it? And people were like, do a heavyweight one, Joshua, Wilder. Imagine trying to pay these heavyweights with the fuck up that's been going on with all it now. You know, just never going to happen. So, you know, and I'm not taking shots in any way, but Callum Sutherland, you know, he looks like that. Does he look like he's worried about this tournament not going well? I don't think so.
Yo, he's worried about his connect not coming through with the hookup, right? Let's be fucking honest about that one. Allegedly, I'll say that, just to add it for any potential lawsuits.
Yeah,
but let's be honest. But let's be honest.
All the evidence is there to, you know.
And it's like, hell, what are you going to sue for? Like MCR's great funding, right? Come on.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a real shame, because it could have been somewhat special, because, you know, the production looks amazing. You know how it was all sort of, you know, going all. I think they even announced Breedis' fight today, didn't they? I think was
that today? I thought they announced that like a while ago.
No. I think date and venue and everything was announced today for, was it Breedis and shit, I forgot, but I kind of thought, is it going to happen?
I'll be honest, I completely forget about that entire tournament. I have no idea what's happening with that tournament in terms of that division. But 140, 118, I care a lot about that. Andy Lopez and Taylor versus Branchick is back on after he threatened to leave. That's not 100% official, Andy. Like, I hope you know that. Like, Taylor Branchick has no date, no venue. It has proposed date and venue, but like, there's nothing official to that. It's not back on in any way. And also, they are still
the same day Branchick said he was going out. World Boxing Super Series said, it's official.
Glasgow, SSE, Hydro, right? Like that. Pretty sure that's what they.
So,
come on, man.
It is official, but maybe one of them won't be there. But buy your tickets. You know, it's been a shit show.
Potential lunatic helping you out. Breedis Glowacki, June 15th, Latvia. See, that's a great fight. Like that. Don't get me wrong, that's a good fight. I'm happy for that fight. It just also doesn't need the tournament, in my opinion, for that fight to be made, especially in that division.
No,
let's be honest. But anyways, we can move on. We don't need to stay on this any longer if we don't need to. Rob?
No.
All right. Canelo Alvarez dropping his WBA regular belt. How mysterious. And obviously, I think David Lemieux versus John Ryder is looking to sort of snatch up that WBA regular belt on the Canelo Jacobs undercard. Rob, I have really no insightful substantive points about this other than, duh. I also don't care. Canelo can do whatever he wants. He's a G. Rob, your points.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just wish they hadn't used Rocky Fielding like that. He could still be the champion right now.
They abused and used Rocky Fielding like he was some like 2-bit prostitute, man. That poor bastard. Oh, God. I feel bad. I feel bad, honestly, for Rocky. Because think about it. If he had that belt still, like maybe he could finagle his way to like an actual like full legitimate like title shot, right? Now, I mean, God, Rocky Fielding's gonna have to bounce back, get a few comeback fights, right? Maybe get the WBA regular belt back, maybe work his way back to mandatory. But that ain't happening. Let's just be honest. R.I.P. Rocky Fielding, even though he's still alive and well.
Yeah, I think he's all right.
Yeah, no, he's fine. But I mean, R.I.P.
Maybe he gets a shot of the vacant, having been the sort of sacrificial lamb to Canelo for it. Maybe
I could see like the winner of David Lemieux, John Ryder, because that does look like it's gonna be likely for the vacant belt.
Plus then maybe the Fielding gets a go at the winner at that. So maybe who knows?
And honestly, like David Lemieux versus Rocky Fielding, I would want to see that. Like, I'm not gonna be clamoring for it. Don't get me wrong, but like, if that's on a card, I'm interested in that. Like, I would want to see that fight. John Ryder, I could give two shits about. I'll be honest.
Hey, but
he's just not that like good to me. To be honest, sorry.
All right, well, each to their own. But let's see if Lemieux makes weight first, right? But
hey, this 168.
Yeah, I know, but maybe he'll be 171.
Yo,
Who
man.
knows?
Yeah, let the boy David eat, man. Let him eat.
Yeah, he does eat. That's the trouble. And he kills himself getting down there. But no, I mean, I saw him on Instagram or Twitter, one of them, big year coming up. Who's with me? It's like, well, I don't know. Are you going to do it all right? Are you going to, you say this quite a lot. I don't know. But yeah, vacated the belt. What did he do?
Whoop-de fucking do. Richard Comey, per my commentary, I think per everyone, really has been saying has suffered a knuckle injury during his second round TKO of Isaac Chineyev. He'll undergo an MRI tomorrow, Thursday. His promoter, Lou DiBella, told Mike Coppinger the exam will determine his readiness to fight Vasily Lomachenko on April 12th in L.A. On top of that, it's been mentioned that Anthony Corella could slip in if obviously Comey cannot fight on that date. Rob, I know that you would like to see that because you want Corella to get a shot.
Yeah.
And it feels like he might get sacrificed by somebody else before he gets to that shot if he doesn't get it ASAP. But I'll be honest, I would much rather see the Richard Comey fight. Which fight would you rather see? From an honest fan perspective, try to take UK bias out. If you can't, it's okay. You can leave the bias in there if you want. Anthony Corella or Richard Comey versus Lomachenko.
As a fan, which would look, unification's a unification, right? And I think you could see maybe Comey giving Lomas a new look, some different kind of test. But Anthony Corella's built himself into a mandatory position, so he should get his shot.
Yeah, but unifications supersede mandatories.
Not always. Kid Galahad. IBF said no.
IBF said no.
You must face no special exemptions because he used it up against Frampton, I think. So
yeah, but Loma doesn't have that situation here.
They don't always supersede mandatories.
They don't always supersede, but it does in this case.
Yeah. But regardless.
Lawyered. Boom. Hold on. Where's my flex bomb? Yeah.
Is that what that was? All right.
That was an explosion.
It was
destruction.
The quietest bomb in my headphones I've ever heard.
Is that better?
Yeah, it might have been fine for everybody else. I've just got bad hearing, with the age and everything.
You're a cunt. Okay, we can move on.
But no, I don't want to say fingers crossed Comey's broke his knuckles, but
yeah, that would be fucked up.
But I want to see Corella get a big fight. But whatever. But yeah, unification Comey against Loma. But yeah, possibly in doubt. So we'll have to wait and see on how the MRI scan and everything comes out for Richard Comey.
Quickly, it's not on the docket mainly because it's just not there. But I feel like we haven't discussed it yet. Joseph Parker versus Derek Chisora. Have we discussed that yet on the show?
No, because she didn't want to talk about it. Not that specifically.
Yeah, don't say it like that.
That was to be part of that whole show that you were bored of.
Okay. Let's talk about that right now because I'm reminded about that, and I actually really love that matchup. That's proposed to be on the Dylan White undercard, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which I think is at the O2, right? That's what.
Yeah, April 20th.
And also Carlos Takam versus
Michael Hunter.
Oh, I love that fight.
Possibly.
like
that Eddie was kind of saying
that's
today
questionable.
about,
Yeah, that's not official in any way.
You know, there's a lot of heavyweights on it. You know,
Well, Parker Chisora is not official yet either, right? Or is that official?
Eddie has presented Chisora with an offer.
Okay,
it's like he's sort of co-promoting Parker on this one or something, but he's presented that, and it was David Haye had tried to call him, but he was at the press conference today for Charlie Edwards Moreno, and then he said, "So I'm going to be calling David Haye back after this." So we'll wait on news on that, but yeah, it's being spoke of, offers and stuff are happening. So
okay, so let's just say for hypothetical purpose that all these fights get finalized. With Joseph Parker Chisora, Mike Hunter versus Carlos Takam, and then obviously White on top of the as the main event, fighting unknown at this time, TBD. Do you like this heavyweight card? Like, I'm actually really, I like it a lot. I know, like other combat sports have done this. I think, like obviously, like kickboxing has done this. Grappling has done this. Like jiu-jitsu. I know MMA has done this. The UFC has had a heavyweight pay-per-view card before, where it's all heavyweights. That was interesting. I liked it, and plus it gives a promoter a lot of options if people get hurt or fights fall off. If you're planning all these fights in the same division and all relatively at the same level too, it gives you a lot of fluidity if stuff starts going awry. Also, potential lunatic adding Dave Allen, Lucas Brown. Thank you for adding that on top of that.
Yeah,
just
that's done. That one's actually made.
Yeah, I know that one's like official. Rob, are you like as like intrigued by this heavyweight card as I am? Like, are you like now like really hyped for this? Because I like all the matchups. I think all of them have tons of storylines to sort of thread from each of them, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. And just a little extra on the Dillian White opponent, personally, and I said it, I think it's going to be Povetkin, not Brazil. Are you looking for a soundbite for that?
Saw my eyes, huh? You're like, oh, damn it.
Yeah, and I thought that was the one you were going to do. But both Eddie in interviews and Adam Smith of Sky have said they like the Povetkin fight. So whether that's... I think they're apparently they've been trying to talk to the WBC as far as making the Brazil fight, and obviously the winner would be the mandate, you know, like another sort of eliminator kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? That whole situation to me is like, at the time you feel bad for Dillian White. He's number one, yet they're picking number 4, and then they're saying it's Brazil, but then
you got to feel bad for Brazil too. I mean, like he is being told.
I was just coming around to. I was saying now he's been left out. He's the mandatory. He's the mandatory. He's the mandatory. Not called it yet. Not called it yet. Not called it yet. Tell you what, fight Dillian White because he feels aggrieved. It's like, nah, fuck that. You know, what?
I've been told for now a year I'm the mandatory. I'm the fucking mandatory. Stop going back in your word. Yeah, I think it's just a shitty situation. This is why sanctioning bodies suck. Like they're not fun.
But yeah, regarding the card, I mean, I don't know what else you can really fit on that card. You know, it's, to me, those,
especially just the price tag of all those fights. God,
that's what Eddie said about the Hunter and Takam. He said maybe that's a genuine like possibility, but he said, remember, you know, there's a lot of big guys on this card, and it's, you know, they got to pay them all, so it's, you know, maybe not. We're not going to get all of them, maybe, but definitely Dillian White. I think we'll definitely end up with Parker Chisora, and obviously Lucas Brown and Dave Allen. So,
and even if, like, let's say the Taka Michael Hunter fight doesn't get made for this card, that fight is a good fight to make for any card, right? Like, that's just a fight that you should make, period, in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, Eddie, look, obviously Takam stood in for Pulev for Joshua, and Eddie's kind of, I think he's done this quite a lot, you know, like someone's come, done, whether it's like good, easy business, like real nice guy to work with, or this, that, and the other, and like he gives them more fights.
Well, it's, well, if you're a company man in any field, right, you get rewarded, right? Like Timothy Bradley was that guy for Top Rank. He was Mr. Company Man, right? AJ, in a sense, is that though he sort of branched up and become a little bit on par with Matt Trim and Eddie, so he has a little more autonomy. But that's why guys like Anthony Fowler are beloved by Eddie, because Anthony Fowler is so easy to work with. A company guy always says yes. Takam is one of those guys that's super good with the flow. He'll just say yes, sort of a throwback fighter. And plus, let's be honest, Carlos Takam has been in some incredible fights. That Chisora fight alone, like, that fight will always be, like, the epitome of Carlos Takam's career, unfortunately. And both in a good way and bad ways. But, like, Takam is good. Like, I think Eddie, he likes him. He's a company guy, and he puts on good fights.
And I feel Takam, he's slightly, I think, fallen in love with the UK a bit. Like, he's had a great reception after, the Joshua fight. I think people felt that the stoppage wasn't justified. It wasn't the greatest stoppage, and he perhaps deserved to, see the fight out. Maybe he wouldn't have even in the next round. Who knows? But he seemed to catch a nice little following, and he's really nice to, like, the UK fans on Twitter. He always comes out, I'm really looking forward to coming. You fans are the best. He really says nice things, and so I think he's got a soft spot for the UK, and I think certain, like, UK fans have got a spot for Takam in their hearts as well. So yeah, he's been like you say, in fun fights, really tough fights, and he always looks the part. But yeah. It'll be. I'm really looking forward to that card. I just want we're so in the first quarter still, but we just announce some shit. Let's find out. Let's get the map laid out and what's happening on what date and where, and let's see how it pans out. Because, like you say, after these fights, it kind of means something. If a Chisora gets the win over Parker, he's kind of sort of pushed back up again. And if Parker, he's kind of maybe not back in the title mix, but he's moving in the right direction. Dillian White, a win over this keeps him relevant, and, pay-per-view buys or, all that. It all means something now. This card's going to be really good, I think.
Quickly, Johnny is saying in the chat that fighting Takam would be several sets back. That's fighting the guy who you just knocked out. Johnny, I don't know what you're talking about. His last, like, a few fights, like Usanov, Igo Kalitsi, like, none of those guys have beat or even fought Carlos Takam. Like, I'm confused as to what you're stating here, Johnny. But digressing from that, let's run through these last few topics. Alexander Vajdic is back in action, like we reported earlier, I think this week or last week. In Philadelphia, what's the date? March 30th, and his opponent is official Duadu Ngumbu. Who
the fuck is that guy?
Who this guy's lost to everyone of note: Isaac Chilemba, Fonfora, Mohammadi. I have really no desire to watch this fight. Let's just be honest. Rob, any thoughts on this?
No, not really. It's just an announcement rather than really wanting to talk about it. I was just sending you news, really.
I'm just making sure, man. Just shooting it over to you.
What's the next one?
Amanda Navarre versus Isaac Dogbe. The rematch is looking closer and closer to being finalized, per Dan Rayfield. I'm happy with that because I think it's not saying that it's sort of a fluke, but I do think Dogbe is potentially the more talented fighter, and he's just not training as a champion. He's sparring his uncles. He's just not in the right atmosphere to be to optimize his talent, his athleticism, his skill, and hopefully he makes those course corrections. Otherwise, it's not going to be a good night for Dogbe again because Navarre is a tough son of a bitch, and regardless, I think Navarre should be in there for the full 12 again, and Dogbe is going to have to figure something out. Rob, any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I think it's up to people whether they want to believe him, but he said he really took his eye off the ball. A lot of like other commitments outside of outside of fighting. He took on a lot of things. Some kind of where is it? He's from Ghana, right? Is it Ghana?
Yes, from Ghana.
Yeah, not duties as such in Ghana, but took on appearance, all these kind of things. It was kind of took it, if you really want to be a world champion and stay world champion, it takes a certain level of, commitment. And I don't know whether the quick success and whatever kind of got to him a little bit, and making appearances and, being hailed as some kind of, demigod or whatever.
Well, think about this. I mean, just from anyone's perspective, like anyone, if you excel at what you do in your environment and you go on to the Olympic level, you go on to become a world champion at a very young age, and you've always been in this environment, and the people that are your elders in a sense, right? Your uncles, your dad, right? The ones that should be telling you, hey, you got to move on from this and go into a better environment to really be conducive to what you want to achieve in your life. If those same elders are the ones that you are training with in that same environment you've trained with your entire life, then you're going to have no understanding that you need to change. You know what I mean? Like, there's no context to, oh, I need to change. Like, he may have at times, I'm assuming, gone to other gyms and trained places. I think he's been in the UK for some time as well. Like, he should have picked up on it. But again, I don't know if he had the right guidance to push him in those directions. I don't know if his uncles and his dad was telling him, hey, go to America, go to the UK, go train with these big trainers. Usually, dad trainers, uncle trainers, like those family trainers, they don't do that. And unfortunately, that environment can be really negative to a fighter once they reach a certain level. Hopefully, he understands that, because I don't think anyone else in his team is really going to teach him that. Maybe his manager, I think he has the same manager as Richard Comey. I forget his name. I deeply apologize. I think Michael. I forget his last name. Great manager, great guy as well. Really good mind for the sport. Hopefully, he comes in as a little more of an active manager and a little more of a controlling manager on top of that, just because I think it's needed at this point. Rob, any last thoughts on Dogbe and Navarre? And I know I did cut you off a little bit. I do apologize.
No, that's all right. I'm used to it. It's all good. Yeah, like I say, hopefully Dogbe gets back to, when he was focused on winning the title instead of, the Dogbe we saw eye off the ball, sort of defending the title. So,
But again, what I'm saying, it may not be just an eye off the ball situation. It may just be, okay, you reach this level, now you need to propel yourself to a different environment, different training. You know what I mean? And he just didn't do that.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, it's you I don't know what the best sort of analogy is to the UK in terms of like common sporting vernacular, but imagine like running the 40 against your same training buddy for 15, 20 years, and you always beat his ass. You think you're hot shit. You think you run the 40 at a really fast speed, and then you go to the actual meet against other teams, other schools, whatever it may be, and you realize, oh wait, I'm not hot shit. That's sort of what happened here in my mind. The Magdaleno fight was super close. Even though he did stop Magdaleno, that was a back and forth fight where he had to sort of come back from being knocked down. I think he just didn't realize, look, like I got a little bit lucky in that sense, to even to use that word, against Magdaleno. The next time I race somebody else, it won't be like racing my buddy or my uncle who have raced for 20 years. I need to find other people to race with, to train with. I think that's probably more of an issue than taking the eye off the ball. Again, that's my speculation on that. I think it's probably both in some capacity, but I think it's more so, hey, go train with like a Coldwell or a Freddie Roach or anyone of note, right? Like a Ronnie Shields. Like, wouldn't that be awesome to go train with Ronnie Shields and go train with Guillermo Rigondeaux day in and day out, to have that mentality in a nice facility and a nice gym with the nutritionists, like that I think is probably more important than just not doing media and being more focused. I think there's more tangible things he can do to fix his career, his sort of training, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Moving on, Dani Nietes versus Ashton Pilate. The rematch has sort of been ordered by, I forget which sanctioning body it is, the WBO. I like that. I think the first fight was a great back and forth fight. It ended in a controversial draw. I think you can sort of watch that fight 10 times and you will have 10 different scorecards. But I would love to see that fight again. Happy to see it again. And interested to see who picks it up. Because obviously Ashton Plate is attached to Roy Jones Promotions, which have a UFC Fight Pass deal. Donnie Nietes, I believe... who did he fight with last? I think it was a DAZN card or something like that. I forget exactly who or what network he was attached to in his last fight. Maybe it was off TV. I could be wrong. But it would be curious to see like who wins this purse bid if it does come to that. In my mind, it does have 15 days or 15-day window or go to purse bid. Rob, any thoughts on this one?
It was Kazuto Ioka.
Yeah, but what card was that attached to? Like what network, what promoter?
It was Macau, and
I think that was.
Oh, it was New Year's Eve.
Oh, thank you. It was one of the New Year's Eve Japanese cards. Thank you. One of them was on DAZN. I don't think it was the Nietes one. I think it was the other one. But anyways, digressing. We don't need to stay on that. Glad to see that rematch being ordered, and can't wait to see it. Lamont Peterson versus Sergey Lepinets, March 24th, PBC on FS1. I like this fight. I like this fight a lot, I'll be honest. And the winner of this fight probably facing a bigger name like a Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao, one of those names next. I'm absolutely in favor of this matchup. And plus, I think it's going to be an all-action fight. Lamont Peterson's a guy that, even though he has great boxing skill, is a guy that tends to be on the inside, throwing combinations and kind of sort of throws out his defensive skill. Sergey Lepinets is a talented, rugged, all-action fighter, so I'm excited to see this matchup. And plus, FS1 cards have been, so far on this new deal, stacked and rather entertaining, so I'm happy with this. Rob, your thoughts on Lamont Peterson, Sergey Lepinets on FS1?
Yeah, it's a good fight. I think not like massively overhyped for it, but no, I think it's a good fight. And like you say, the winner probably, goes on and gets one of the bigger names, because I think, all these guys are going to be fighting each other anytime soon. Probably not. So, a name like a Peterson or, a Lipinets, who's sort of just sort of at the 147 sort of mark. Yeah, it's like someone who can, fill in a space, in between, the top guys maybe meeting each other. So, and it's a decent enough name that I probably wouldn't get super hate on it. So yeah, it'd be a good fight.
It's a good little ranked number 8th guy in the world against number 15th guy in the world. It's one of those sort of good fights.
Yeah, I mean, look, I was on the Sky Sports feed today for the press conference for Charlie Edwards, and we got Boatsy Conroy for the British title, and this, that, and there's people in there going, another trash card from, and I'm like, this is a fun card, it's a good card. And people were like, yeah, no, this is a good card. And it was all like, oh, maybe it's US haters and stuff like that, this, that, and the other. And I don't know, we can't get 1 versus 2 in every division every week. We can't get 3 and 4 fighting every, at some point we've got to see 8 versus 15 or and 26 versus 18. And otherwise, how can anyone move up, How do you?
Exactly. And sometimes those fights are honestly some of the better fights. Like
how many times has the main event been the letdown, but some of the undercards been absolute fire, right? It's.
Well, look at this weekend. Ishe Smith, Erickson Lubin. That's not a. Those aren't top 10 guys, but that's clearly the best fight of the weekend in my mind. I think others would probably agree with me.
You don't even have to be the best fight of the weekend. It's better than the main event.
It absolutely is.
I'm sorry, but it may be Tank Davis, but it's against this Ruiz. It's a better competitive fight than the one above it, which is making the big money. So
absolutely agree with that. Let's get to the last topic of the day. And again, call in 323-870-4051. Otherwise, we will just head out of here. I don't mind having no callers and having sort of an early day. No Gary on the line. I mean, what is this? This is weird.
Matt, let me announce this via Mike Coppinger, who then gives credit to the person who actually
Is this breaking news, or are you just making jokes?
No. Shakur Stevenson will fight Christopher Diaz on April 20 on the undercard of Crawford Khan. A source confirms. ESPN first reported the development. So, Coppinger giving out credit like he likes to.
Yo, hold on. The Dan Rafael versus Mike Coppinger beef is my favorite beef of 2019. I hope you understand that. Before I get to that, and I will go down that rabbit hole a little bit more. Shakur Stevenson versus Christopher Diaz is going to be finalized. It's not 100% yet for the Crawford Khan undercard. Love that fight, but let's get to the real issue at hand here. Like Rob said, Dan Rafael versus Mike Coppinger, the battle of the century. Let's go. Obviously, I think that is a little bit of a sub-tweet to what Dan Rafael was saying about what was the news? Was it?
It was it the Joshua Miller sources?
Yes, or the Joshua.
Yeah. Because didn't Dan then obviously get hold of Eddie, and Eddie was like, no, it's not, it's not done. It's this, that. So he's like, per sources, this and the other.
No, Dan was smart because he said, as previously reported, he alluded to a previous report, but never stated who reported it, from what outlet, nothing. He gave zero credit to the initial report, right? So I gotta say, in this sort of round 8 of the battle so far, and it's still, I think, January? Or is it? No, it's February now. God. It's February 6th. In this February 6th, we're a month and a week into 2019. And it's already round 9 between these two. Love it. I think Dan Rafael won this one. I'll be honest. You know why? Cop gave him the Michael Benson treatment. He gave him at least that due. He at least added ESPN, right? I'll be honest. It would have been better if he said, as previously reported, he almost word for word copied Dan. I would have been much more ecstatic about that. I'll be honest. That would have been more of a draw round, like a 10-10 round. But right now, Dan Rafael, 10-9, in my opinion.
Yeah, but what is the score? What's your current scorecard?
Oh, Mike Coppinger, far ahead. Come on.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah.
Though, look,
and just slice.
I'm not. My rounds again aren't by who I like more, who I think is a better reporter. It's purely off of who I think is the pettier of the two, right? That's all my scoring is based off, right?
Or is it who's replying to the pettiness?
No. It's,
you know what I mean?
Who's better at pettiness? I think that's probably a better, sort of description.
Rising to the pettiness, or who's being above the pettiness, but just a little bit.
No,
I don't know.
Fuck being above the pettiness. Dan Rafael loves to get in the mud and roll with the pigs, and and look here, okay, Rob, stop laughing. Okay, this is serious here, okay?
Oh, it is
serious. Okay, Dan Rafael is still the pettiest reporter in the game, and I gotta give him that credit. As somebody else that is deeply petty, like myself, I think it's hilarious, man. I think Dan Rafael probably has been winning the pettiness battle between all of the reporters. Let's be honest. Why? Because look at him. People have been shitting on him for 20-plus years, man. The dude is still the same shape as he was 20 years ago. He still doesn't give a fuck about you calling him fat, okay? The dude is still making fun of everyone in the sport, still being petty as hell, still poking jokes at Steven Espinoza, Adrian Broner, whoever. And guess what? They still have to credential his ass. Why? Because he's ES-fucking-PN. So Dan Rafael, he's hustling everyone. In a way, I gotta give Dan Rafael his credit, man.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he had the thing with Broner. He said, you really think you won that fight? You threw 50 punches in the whole fight. You landed one in the round 12, and Broner went there about, do I really need the cheese on this burger? So, Dan this weekend with the Super Bowl, photograph of Espinoza, Broner, and Espinoza's wife or girlfriend or whatever it is. And then I bet he thinks the Rams won as well. I was like,
And then Steven Espinoza comes back with the high and mighty, oh, how dare you, Dan Rafael, be unprofessional as a reporter. Shame. Tut on you, sir. And it's like, Stevie, shut up. Okay? You can't come on Twitter and be high and mighty and presumptuous when you were telling everyone that your pay-per-view wasn't $75 because the standard definition was $65. Get the fuck out of here, Steven Espinoza. We love you. We love you because you do more media than any TV exec, so that's nice. I'll be honest.
This is how the pettiness went with Rayfield and Steven Espinoza. It was.
Oh, was there a reply from Dan or just?
No, it was just Dan Rayfield. It was like, probably thinks the Rams won at Steven Espinoza. Look who I found at the Super Bowl at Adrian Broner. So Espinoza, just to keep it proper petty, he said, like probably thinks the Rams won. It was probably thinks this is an appropriate comment from an objective journalist.
See, like, look, I do like Espinoza because he's also very petty, right? Like, I can respect, like, again, I respect pettiness. But like that seemed a little bit, again, presumptuous. Like that seemed like he was at church and wanted to look down and be a little bit snobby at Dan Rayfield, when I think he could have been, again, gone in the dirt, roll in the mud a little bit more with Dan Rayfield. That would have been funnier. But instead this was like, how dare you be mean? And I didn't like that. That's lame.
I would have come back, probably thought you had a sense of humor, or you know what I mean? So they carry on the probably thing.
Yeah, there's something there, man. Something there. But anyways, digressing, let's get to the Shakur Stevenson, Christopher Diaz fight. Christopher Diaz obviously moving down from 130. He's supposed to fight Jesse Magdaleno, but apparently, per this report, the Shakur Stevenson fight was for more money. That's why this fight is now being closer to being finalized. I gotta admit, I really like this fight. I don't think it would be the exact fight I would have made for Shakur next. I would have much rather had the Jesse Magdaleno Christopher Diaz fight. I'll be honest. When that was first sort of rumored and talked about, I really sort of got attached to that matchup in a way. So this one's new to me. I sort of get used to it, but I like it. I think it's a step up for Shakur Stevenson. Christopher Diaz obviously fighting Aito 2 fights ago and losing. I think for the WBO belt at 130 for that vacant belt since Loma moved up. He is a talented fighter. I don't think he's going to be a guy that lights the world up at 126, but he's still probably a perennial top 10 talent at whatever division he's in. So it is a decent name for Shakur Stevenson. It's going to test him in some ways. And plus, I think it's a good little pay-per-view booster. I'm not saying I'm going to go and buy the pay-per-view now, but this is making the card better. It definitely, you can say it's making the card substantially better, in my opinion, because you have Shakur in a relevant step-up fight. And on top of that, it's just a sign that Top Rank, I think, is now ready to push these prospects. Michael Conlan, Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez. Expect them all to get heavy, heavy pushes in terms of competition level in the next 12 months. And probably at least one of them, I think, will fight for a belt this year. I just see Top Rank is going to push for that more than anything. Since all these guys, maybe not so much Michael Conlan, but Shakur and Teofimo, they're lighting the world on fire, obliterating competition. They sort of have to step up the competition level. And plus, they have struck gold with Shakur and Teofimo. So, it's time to go to the bank in some way. Even though they're young, you can start going to the bank for now for a good 10, 15 years with these guys. Start doing it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is a great step up for Shakur. I really like it. If you're good enough, you're young enough, right, or old enough. Let's see. I think we're starting to see it a little bit more. Maybe not on the level in certain ways, but we've got UK guys, perhaps making these jumps quicker than they would have done a few years ago, right? We would have seen another 5 or 6 fights or something before making that jump, right? But I really do feel there's a real changing of this, the O, right? I just don't think, especially for a young fight, it's not as damaging to a career or your resume as it perhaps once was looked at. I think the O isn't quite the big deal. I know it's a setback and you get maybe pushed down the queue a little bit, but it only takes another good couple of wins or one sort of comeback and then back into and you're right, sort of back up in the mix, I think. I don't think
that the mystique or worry about that O, right? That getting that loss, that one loss on your resume, right? And not being undefeated. I don't think that's been the norm in boxing history. I think that's been the exception, right? I think for the last, let's say, from 2004-ish, 2003, whenever Mayweather really started coming on the scene in the sporting landscape, to right about maybe 3 years ago, right? About 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when he stopped being so active. That was really the only time in boxing history where that O mattered so much. You know, and now, sorry, just to finish my point. Now I think we're returning to the norm, so to speak. You know, we're getting away from the exception. We're returning to the norm of boxing, which is we just want to see great fights. We want to see great fighters fight other great fighters, regardless of losses. We're going to support. Look at Wilder Fury. I think when one of them does lose to each other, guess what? They're not going away. Their careers are not ending based off of that. You know, when Thurman, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, look at them, and some of them having losses. Has that stopped them from making money, from being relevant fighters? No. We've now returned to the norm, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, look, Dillian White was just turned down career high purse to fight the guy that already beat him, right? So there's always a route back. But yeah, I think maybe the Mayweather thing, the 51-0, the 50-0, the TBE, you know, I think that was, you know, kind of Floyd's almost like sales pitch, and then maybe it highlighted it and made more people, I need keep my O. I need to keep my O. And look, I could, you know, if I keep winning and not this, that, and the other, I could be up on there on, you know, that Floyd sort of level. But yeah, I just feel a lot of young fighters are taking chances now, and it's really refreshing and good to see. You know, I hope you know, things like, I doubt it will get made anytime soon, but you know, look at Haney and Teofimo Lopez right now. You know, that I'd be happy to see that now. I guess fans are happy to see certain fights like now, but I know the business wants to perhaps build a fight like that, you know, and it'll be worth more, this, that, and the other. But you know, let's find out now. You know, the other one can come back, and the other one kicks on. It should be how it sort of works. But I know, you know, that fight can, I guess, be built into a much bigger fight, you know, down the line. But you know, but in that time, maybe you always run the risk they could maybe lose to somebody else, or you know, let's see it while it's hot, you know, while the peak interest. But anyway, you know,
well, look at guys like sorry, not to interrupt, but look at guys like Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson, you know, Joe Louis, you know, the list goes on and on. They've all suffered losses. You know, Roy Jones, Bernard Hopkins, Oscar De La Hoya, Mike Tyson. You go through the list of basically all the stars of boxing history, Muhammad Ali, for God's sake. They all received losses, you know, and some of them at very, very early stages in their career. I think like Sugar Ray Leonard lost to Roberto Duran in their first fight. I think that was like his 22nd fight, 23rd fight. You know, and did that make Sugar Ray Leonard not be the transcendental star of the 80s for boxing? No.
Didn't Hopkins lose his first fight?
Hopkins did lose his first fight, yes. You know, it's
Tevin Farmer.
Tevin Farmer lost like 4 out of his first like 10 fights. I mean, that poor guy, yeah.
High on life, making big money, champion of the world, and calling the shots almost. You know, it's
George Groves, in a sense, not too long ago in recent memory, was sort of that way, that he rebounded quite well from that knockout loss from Carl Froch. You know, I mean, maybe not physically as much. I think that it did take its toll on him, but he did come back in a way, obviously.
Yeah, I mean,
Johnny coming back saying, "So why are you not believing in Lubin then, Matt?" With a bunch of like exclamation points, question marks, right?
Chinny.
No, it's just look like even like competition level matters. You know, like when I mention guys like Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, you know, these others. I'm not saying obviously we should compare them to Lubin, but look at the guys they beat around those losses. You know, look at, you know, sort of their proven track record, you know, the empirical evidence we can go back to. And I know you're kind of just joking, Johnny, but I think it's a relevant point here. Like, if Lubin had any win over somebody of note, it would be different. It would be different. But his biggest win is still nobody's that we've never heard from, that we've never seen again on TV. So it's just hard to sort of, you know, put your hat in that race in a sense. Not that Lubin isn't talented, not that he isn't gifted, but he hasn't proven it yet at the top level or even at a mid-level. Let's just be honest. Johnny saying he lost their champ, though. Yes, he did lose their champ. But that was the only top 50 name on his resume is Jermell Charlo. You can even make the argument. The only top 75 name on his resume, the only top 100 name on his resume is Jermell Charlo. Ishe Smith is still a top 20 guy in the division. Don't get it twisted here. Do not get it twisted here, Johnny. You know that, and I know that. But anyways, Rob, any last thoughts on the show, any of the topics, etc.?
I wanted to bring it up. I know you weren't that keen.
Oh no, okay. I can stop the outro. I know you want to talk about it.
No, it's just Wilder's warning to Anthony Joshua. Do we consider it a warning? Really? I'm ready to fight next. After this fight, I'm ready to fight him next, but he's got to keep it fair, obviously the deal. And but Joshua, I've got enough opponents to stay away from you for 2 years, to keep me busy for 2 years. We've got big things going on over here. And I don't know. I just feel if Joshua would have said, oh, I've got enough people to fight for another 2 years before I have to face you. I just, I don't know. I just don't know what kind of a warning that is. Because I don't know.
Is that what you think? That's exactly. It doesn't matter what you think.
Yo, man, I don't care, man. And look, like it's the same thing with Fury. Like, how many times has Fury contradicted himself? How many times has Wilder contradicted himself? How many times has AJ contradicted himself? Like, they've all done that. And I mean, Wilder more than anyone, Rob, you know this because you've interviewed him how many times, right? Like, the guy just talks and talks. So when you talk that much, hey, speaking of somebody that talks a lot and is on radio, podcasting for 2 hours every day, a week for now, 3-4 years now it seems. You're gonna say shit that contradicts each other. That's some wild shit that you wish you didn't say, or you just don't mean. But you're gonna say it because you're just on the radio. You're in front of a camera and you need to talk, so you're gonna talk. Do I believe Wilder has enough opponents to last 2 years? No, not really.
That's only 2 fights, though, right?
Yeah, but I mean exactly. So I mean, like, I just don't care. I don't care. Like, let's just get to Wilder Fury, right? Let's you know what I mean? Like, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Let's just get to Wilder Fury, get that that check off that item off the checklist. Let's get to AJ Miller. Let's just get past these fights first, man. God damn it. Again, not to you, Rob. I'm just saying, like, I'm so tired of AJ Wilder Fury. God, it's the worst. It's like. And maybe because, look, I wasn't doing media. I wasn't a part of the media industry when, like, Mayweather Pacquiao was, like, always being talked about, like, circa 2012, right? 2008, like, in that time frame. But this has to be up there with just that level of just awfulness in terms of how much the media covers it, how much the media covers of nothing, honestly. But they will just put Wilder, AJ, Fury in the headline with some quote that is utter meaningless. That's what I think about this. Back to your point, Rob. Like, this is just quotes in the media that are utter meaningless. The AJ Wilder fight, AJ Fury fight will happen when it happens. Rob, do you have any points about this, or
no? I just wanted to get a reaction.
You just want to trigger me. That's fine. And I know. No. Hey, look, I'll be the bad guy for the UK fans. It's okay. I just don't care about it happening right now, or us talking about it happening right now, because again, it's not happening right now. But yeah, there's other channels out there that you guys can, if you want to go watch AJ Wilder content 24/7, there's other channels. Go listen to those channels. This channel maybe is not that one. Sorry. I'm not mentioning any names, but you can obviously find them.
Sorry, what? No, it wasn't. I was looking for more topics. But yeah. Obviously, thanks everybody for tuning in. Coming again, hit that thumbs up on your way in, out. Whenever you tune in, look for us on iTunes. Hit that 5-star review. Give us that 5-star review. Matt occasionally wants 1 star, so
actually 1 stars are the best. Just saying. Secretly, you don't know that.
Yeah. All right. But as far as wanting to do nice things for people, give a 5-star one. But yeah, someone in the chat earlier said, can you find this on Spotify? Yes, it's on Spotify as and when Matt gets around to uploading it. I'm just coming with shots every time. But yeah.
What do you mean? The show's updated on podcast form, right? I'm pretty sure it's updated.
Wow, yeah. After what, 3 days off?
Yo, man. Okay. Look, podcast fam out there listening, the 400 or 500 of you, we love you guys. YouTube is a priority. We are a live YouTube show. I do apologize about that. And sometimes I do sort of stagger the show. Sometimes it gets a little bit too hectic. Oh, we do have a caller. Let's get to a caller. We didn't have a caller today, and we have some time. Oh, never mind. He dropped off. Sorry.
All right.
But anyways, catch us obviously Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, YouTube, whatever it may be. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe, find me, Matt Hunter, MCR, all platforms. I just got my new Snapchat because I haven't had a Snapchat in like a year. And, I'm getting a little more active in the dating scene, right, again. And look, don't give me that look, Rob. I took a little bit of a hiatus. There was like, a date like every 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And, just because of work, life got crazy, kid, dad life, it just gets crazy sometimes. But getting a little more active. I got a Snapchat again. So Matt Hunter, MCR. All the 20% of our listener base that's female.
Yeah.
What's up? But anyways, have a great day. Shut up, Rob. Have a great day. Be back tomorrow. And hopefully tomorrow will be the debut of Mr. Fugatti himself. I'll be honest, low-key forgot your first name, Fugatti. I think it's Andrew. But I know it's wrong. I think that's wrong.
Yeah.
What is it? Why am I...
Oh, God. Andrew Fugatti.
Yo, I'm like, no, that's wrong.
It's Jesse.
Jesse, thank you. I should know that. I have a friend named Jesse. Or had
Yeah, Fugatti, you fucking idiot.
No, I mean like another friend named Jesse. God.
You're like Woody.
It's spelled differently too. I think he spells with an I and like an IE instead of just a.
He does, I think. Yeah.
Wait, R Jesse does. I thought R Jesse spelled it just a SSE.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah, who fucking cares? Foo's gonna be joining our show sometime in the next day or two, I guess. But anyways,
ZZ Top Foo.
Yeah, what a dosser. Have a great day. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe, leave a comment below, 5-star review on podcast, and also patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio. You're thinking, hey, why haven't MCR done a show in the last couple days? We did. It's on Patreon. Go check it out. Have a great day. Rob, have you given out your social and everything?
No, I didn't. UK Rob, MCR, Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, go and check out Patreon.
That turns me on. That really makes me horny.
Snapchat, MCR, Matt Hunter, MCR. Just saying. Have a great day. Peace.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?
Where is this Burger King?
Hey, pussy, are you still there?